Look, it's like me and my inner self. We're well into the thick of 2020 at this point, and already the horror genre is blessing us with its presence. Kind of, depends who you ask. 2020 is set up with original releases, remakes, reboots, sequels, all making their appearances nearly every single month, with some of these releases actually being some of the most anticipated of the year as a whole. I do still want to start with January and February movies because even though these have been and gone, they are still part of the year's story and I still want to tip my hat off to them. We begin with the long anticipated release of The Grudge on January 3rd, and this rounded out the long since living trilogy. With the number of times the release date was pushed back, I genuinely thought this wasn't going to happen. I thought we weren't going to get it. Did I mind that? Maybe not, who knows. Bearing in mind the last date that we got was the 21st of June. Didn't really think it was coming. I have actually seen this one already and I'm preparing my review as we speak, so turn on notifications and you will see that. January 23rd saw Kristen Stewart's lead character leading a group of underwater researchers into the blackened depths below. Even though I haven't quite seen this movie yet, this definitely does have some aquatic alien vibes with its roots stemming from the science fiction subgenre of horror. It'll actually be quite interesting to see if this brings anything new to the screen and how far removed it is from other movies we've seen just like it. A new take on the 1890s novel The Turning of the Screw appeared the following day in the form of The Turning. Starring Mackenzie Davis, Phil Wolfhard and Brooklyn Prince. Is Finn actually taking any time off or does he just plan on doing movie after movie at this point? Someone speak to that kid's agent! A twisted tale of two very strange and potentially very evil children unfolds before a governess who is tasked to take care of them. When will people learn at this point? Creepy children in horror movies, run the other way, my love. A little bit of an unusual addition to the list came in the form of Gretel and Hansel, a dark and twisted take on the happy-go-lucky fairy tale that most people seem to know. With a pretty decent cast behind it and most of the kind of storyline and things like that coming from the already dark original Grimm Brothers story, I'm quite excited about this. I think it could be potentially very good. Now, some of you may remember my breakdown of the trailer for The Lodge a few months ago, and the film finally saw the light of day on the 7th of February. Since then, I've actually found out that it's the same team that brought us Goodnight Mummy, which if you haven't seen, would highly recommend. Everything I said back then still stands. It looks to be a very suspenseful journey, and it's a bit of a focus on the humanity or lack thereof in the characters. It's like they're keeping things a bit more grounded, a bit more believable, which in my opinion makes for a much more chilling and scary horror film experience. A not so romantic horror release came on Valentine's Day in the form of Fantasy Island. This film just seems like someone went up to someone from Blumhouse and was like, fancy making a kinda quirky TV series in the form of a horror movie? Alrighty then! As much as the storyline of this film intrigues me and the whole menace and human element could get really dark and disturbing and interesting, I'm on the fence a little bit about the casting. Polaroid, Truth or Dare, anyone remember those? But I could be completely surprised, so I will spare judgment for now. And here's another one I've already seen, and I'm still left confused by the release of Bram's The Boy 2. Considering how the first film ended, I wouldn't say it was a film that was actually crying out for a sequel, and after seeing the sequel, I'm still confused as to what it added to the story in general. With William Brent Bell directing again, you would assume that there would be continuity, and continuity there was, but doesn't mean it was a good thing. The Invisible Man is a story that has been told and retold in so many different ways, so many different times, that in a way the release of this horror film has felt like a long time coming. The involvement of Lee Winnell, I feel like I'm pronouncing that wrong. If I am, I'm sorry, who also brought us the Insidious franchise, Dead Silence, and of course some of the Saw movies. We all know how I feel about the Saw movies. It makes me quite excited about this film, given his experience and past success with capturing a dark and menacing persona, which we no doubt accept that the Invisible Man will be. In my not so humble and gracious opinion, I would say The Quiet Place was absolutely snubbed when it came to award season, so the release of the sequel is a very satisfying middle finger to the Academy. The original dream team from the first film returns in the form of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt and the incredibly talented Millicent Simmons and Noah Jupe, and they're all back following immediately after the events of the end of the first film, and I really like that. I feel like it's going to keep us in that place. Like, I was in full suspense at the end of the first film. I can only imagine doing that to start off the second one is going to put us right back in there. In The Quiet Place Part 2, we journey further into this dystopian universe, minus one adult and father and plus one newborn baby. I'm really excited to see more about the origins of where this whole dystopian universe came about. We got a little bit of that in the first film. I'm keen to see more detail, and I'm also really keen to see this whole humans as the enemy element. It's all very Walking Dead. The New Mutants is finally coming, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like I've been seeing trailers for this film since I was about 20 years old. From what I've read, they actually went back and done reshoots of this film to really amp up the horror elements. So with all that effort and time and money being put into it to make it really dark and quite disturbing potentially, all I'm saying is, it better be good. If April 10th rolls around and we still don't get this film though, we riot, okay? I need us to have this agreement here. Literally sat today and filmed a bunch of trailer breakdown videos, and Antlers is one that has definitely stuck by me. I literally had heard nothing about this film, and all of a sudden it's like a crazy creature man is suddenly breaking free and unleashing his violent tendencies upon an unsuspecting town. Sign me up, please! Since I know the least about this film, I'm actually quite keen to leave it as is, and I'm probably the most excited about it for that reason. A successful author, played by musician Janelle Monáe, actually finds herself in a very disturbing version of reality in the April 24th release, Antebellum. Very dramatic pause there, quite liked it, wasn't planned, but I feel like it was effective. Also feel like it was annoying. We literally don't have anything else to go on at this point in terms of plot, but if the chilling visuals of the trailer are anything to go on, then I would say this film could shape up to be quite exciting and also quite groundbreaking horror-wise. Had more on the unknown side for this one, but Saint Maud is actually due for wide release following its success at film festivals last year. The story follows a devout Christian nurse named Maud who actually develops quite an unhealthy obsession with saving her patients' souls, regardless of the consequences or what that might actually mean or entail. This film seems to be towing a bit of a fine line that no doubt people will lose it over because of the religious undertones, but I'm hoping that people can put that rubbish into their back pocket for a little bit just to accept the film and enjoy it for what it actually is. A story. Would you believe our favourite little doll is back? No, it's not Annabelle, Jigsaw my boy! The games continue as now the 9th instalment of the Saw franchise hits cinemas very soon in what I predict will be the penultimate tale in John Kramer's legacy. I just have a feeling they're going for 10. I have a feeling. I know nothing about this film, whether it's set in the past, present, future, or all of the above in the Saw universe, but my love for the twisted roots of the killer is enough to have me on board with this, even if we don't actually get any advancement on the storyline or anything that we know thus far. The ultimate classic 1992 horror film Candyman, originally starring Tony Todd, is getting a little bit of a makeover. Still based on the Clive Barker short story, our favourite hook-handed killer is back in the game, and we don't actually know if this is going to be a reboot of what we've already seen, or if it's just a reinvigorated continuation of the storyline we have. Regardless, I trust the creative vision of Jordan Peele. I feel like he wouldn't take this film on if he didn't think it could be good, and the fact that they're actually reincorporating Tony in some way, shape or form, I'm totally on board with. Up next we have the 5th and final instalment of the Purge franchise, aptly titled Purge. Creativity, ladies and gentlemen, people are getting paid for this. I can just imagine them all sitting around a table going, what do we call it? And someone goes, Purge. Genius! It's like that bit in The Grudge. Brilliant! Now, creators have pretty much confirmed that this will be the end of our favourite judgment-dodging franchise. That was such a tongue twister, and I'm actually quite impressed that I got that out. But I'm hoping that before the credits roll one last time, we get a satisfying bulk out of the story that we already know and loads of new detail to add. Otherwise, what's been the point this whole time? What have we been learning? Absolutely nothing. The same thing over and over for 5 films. What does that sound like? Oh, The Grudge. Oh. Comic book horror, you say? Yes, please. Marvel's very own Morbius is getting his own movie to sink his teeth into, and would you look at that vampire pun? Someone fire me. My main concern with this film is because of the Sony ownership shenanigans. This could potentially flop. which would be a shame considering its potential. With how impressive visual effects have become over the years, especially in the Marvel universe, I can only hope and pray and look forward to a really satisfyingly grim and sinister looking vampire villain. That's all I want in my life. I mean, a gal isn't asking for much. In the past, James Wan has made quite a name for himself in the horror genre, bringing us gems like The Conjuring to great success. So when I found out he was creating a movie based on his own novel, I was like, sign me up, my boy. I don't know when it's coming, I don't know what it is, I don't particularly care. All I know is that I am first in line. Let me in my seat. His movie Malignant is due to release on August 14th and follows a patient who finds out that their tumour is actually something else that gives them unworldly powers, and then they've got to battle things and fight for survival. It's all very intense. The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. Isn't that what we all say? No? Just me then. Despite my frustration at the sudden unnecessary need for a subtitle, I'm really looking forward to seeing the third Conjuring and now the 7th instalment in the Conjuring universe, 9th if you include the short films. With James Wan working on his own film, he has let go of the reins. I don't know how he managed to do that, but he's done it, and it leaves the film in the hands of Michael Chavez. He actually did not a bad job with The Curse of La Llorona last year, so I'm optimistic. Our only hope is that we finally get more pieces to the story. This whole Conjuring universe is taking its damn freaking time, and all I want is just that satisfying like at the end. Can confirm that I've yet to see an Edgar Wright film that I don't like, so it's safe to say his upcoming The Last Night in Soho is definitely up there on my list. This psychological horror incorporates time travel in some kind of way, and that's all I know. That's all I need to know. Some stories just stick with you as a kid, and Roald Dahl's The Witches is definitely one of those for me. And now it's been picked off the bookshelf, dusted off, and Anne Hathaway is stepping into the square-toed shoes of the Grand High Witch. With Robert Zemeckis leading the way, I'm hoping some amazing visual effects make it to the screen like we've seen in his previous work, but at this point all we can do is keep our fingers crossed and wait for a trailer. If you had told me that Halloween 2018 would turn out to be the highest grossing slasher film ever in history, I would have laughed in your face, but hey, it happened. So it's no surprise that creators were quick on its heels, with 2 more sequels being confirmed following its success. Safe to say our good friend Michael ain't going anywhere yet. How many lives does he have? He's like a Buddhist cat. With the same core cast returning, as well as some older versions of some previous cast members that we've seen in older films, one can only hope that Halloween Kills actually kills it. Ba-dum-cha! That was awful, bloody hell. Okay, the next few on my list I'm going to rattle through pretty quickly because as of the point that I'm filming this video, they don't have release dates, we have no extra news, and unless it's changed by the time this video comes up, it's unlikely that we're actually going to see them this year. Potentially this year we may also see Synchronic, The Collected, Terrifier 2, Escape Room 2, and Fear Street. The Magic 5. The 5 that we don't know if we'll ever get. As I said, I do anticipate that that's going to be 2021 or beyond releases for those if at this point we don't have any news or a release date, but you know, films have surprised us before, so things can change. But that is the end of the list. That is what the horror genre holds for us in 2020 and what it's held for us thus far. Obviously that's not taking into consideration things like Netflix that just like to drop things on us without telling us, and I could try and make a video on Netflix horror releases, but really I know nothing. No one knows anything about Netflix. What would it be like to work at Netflix? The power, oh my god, the inside information would kill me. So at this point, that's what we've got to go on. What I want you to do is comment below and tell me what one you're looking forward to in 2020 and why. Is it because it's a sequel? Is it because it's a remake? Is it something new that we haven't seen? Tell me things. I don't know. I'm excited about this. Maybe you're not. Indulge me. But yes, I'm gonna put my Jack Skellington mug down right now so that we can end this video. Let's go. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do remember to give it a big one of these. Leave one of those, tell me which 2020 horror movie you're looking forward to the most and why. If you want to see other videos like this, horror movie playlist will be right up there. Some other playlist or video will be right down there. Social media links all in the description. That's where all my updates come from. Notifications turned on so you know what's happening. But other than that, much love you guys, and I shall see you all very soon. Bye!